But as we all know, in less than 2 weeks from now, kids will be back in the classrooms, and there's no shortage of reaction coming into the Ford government's revised take on sex education. Now, some of the new lessons are getting praised by the teacher unions and the LGBTQ community, but big concerns are still being raised.
Absolutely does not go far enough.
Jack, with the 519 here in the Village, was a leader in fighting the Ford government's repeal of Ontario's sex education last year and helped kickstart a massive campaign encouraging parents, teachers and communities to participate in public consultations. And while the revised curriculum is welcome news, they say there are still serious concerns such as gender identity being taught in grade 8 instead of in elementary school.
And it's well documented that most children have an understanding of their gender identity by the time that they're 3 years old. So we have a huge gap where youth and children who really need to have these conversations won't be having them in a supportive environment.
Concerns are also being raised over course exemptions.
All students need to be there. There's this idea that these are kind of competing human rights when really religious beliefs and diverse sexual orientations and gender identities are not competing. And recognize that the students that are going to be pulled from these classes are the ones that need to be there absolutely the most.
Our first question was why? Why did it take a year? Why did the government play politics with this curriculum?
The president of the Elementary Teachers Federation is happy with the revision and is encouraged by some of the new courses that put an emphasis on concussions, cyberbullying and mental health, but questions the government's intentions in the first place.
Why have they spent millions and millions of taxpayers' dollars to get to where we are today, a year later?
We sort of went a year without a lot of things being taught in the classrooms for those now transitioning into high school. Is that a problem?
Absolutely, it's a problem. I mean, I know my members will be doing everything they can to make sure that those kids are brought up to speed.
The president of the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation is also praising parts of the Ford government's curriculum, but can't help but think about the long-term consequences of what it took to get here.
It meant that there was a public debate about the place of LGBTQ kids in the curriculum, which may have caused them to question their place in society. So I think real damage was done by this, and that's really regrettable. I don't think it was ever about the kids or the curriculum.
Now, the new curriculum will come into effect on September 1st, but according to teachers' unions, with the start of school less than 2 weeks away, teachers will not be ready to implement the new lessons in the classrooms.